together with the Singapore delegation that is with me. Manufacturing in Singapore began in the 1960s when we first gained independence and embarked on our journey of export-led industrialization. This proved to be one of the most important decisions that we made in our economic history. So I'm going to share with you a best-kept secret today. Contrary to what everybody thinks of Singapore, of us as a financial services center, we in fact have a very vibrant manufacturing sector. Manufacturing's share of our gross domestic product has climbed steadily over the years, from 14% in 1965 to about 22% today, forming the single largest component of our economy. 12% of our labor force, or about 450,000 employees, are working in the manufacturing sector. But of course, as all of you are aware, I think things have changed very rapidly all around the world. Costs are going up, energy prices have gone up, everything has gone up for the manufacturing sector. And many things have changed. So we need to remain progressive, we need to remain productive, we need to remain efficient, as all of us know. And given that Singapore intends to have manufacturing remain as one of the bedrock of our economy, it was important that we transform. Hence, in 2021, we launched our Manufacturing 2030 vision to grow our value add from manufacturing by 50% from 2020 to 2030. Our vision for Manufacturing 2030 for Singapore is to become a global business, innovation, and talent hub for advanced manufacturing. The first step was to build a future-ready manufacturing sector with Industry 4.0 and smart manufacturing. Singapore first outlined our strategic vision for the manufacturing sector to embrace Industry 4.0 in the Committee on Future Economy report in 2017. We knew that such a transition was critical in future-proofing Singapore's manufacturing sector and our relevance to the global economy. To help companies familiarize themselves with Industry 4.0 and smart manufacturing and begin their transformation journey, Singapore, in partnership with TÜV launched the world's first Industry 4.0 diagnostic tool, called the Smart Industry Readiness Index, or CII for short. To date, more than 300 Singapore-based companies have used this index to better understand Industry 4.0 concepts, assess their readiness to adopt new technologies, and develop their transformation roadmap. And today, we actually have a partnership with the World Economic Forum to also leverage on CII to help the rest of the countries to also better understand Industry 4.0 and smart industry. And in conjunction with CII, Enterprise Singapore also developed the standards for Industry 4.0 tool as a guide on key standards, use cases, and training courses to support manufacturers, system integrators, and solution providers involved in the adoption of smart manufacturing solutions. We hope to optimize efficiency and implement smart manufacturing solutions through the use of standards. And our delegation has visited Mumbai, Chennai, and now Delhi over the course of this week. And what we've seen is very impressive. I first visited India back in the early 2000s, and certainly what I saw during this week has been eye-opening. I think you are on the brink of a golden era where you can become a manufacturing powerhouse and of course then support the Make in India vision. So we are happy to be a part of this process that you will be going through. And of course, as there is a saying that you can, if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together. So we are very glad that we have a strong partner in India in the form of the CII. In 2021, Enterprise Singapore and CII announced our partnership on CII's Smart Manufacturing Platform. Leveraging CII's Industry 4.0 Smart Manufacturing Platform, Enterprise Singapore and CII collaborated to to host a Singapore Industry 4.0 microsite, which was launched at the Industry Transformation Asia Pacific 2021. The microsite highlights Singapore's developments, capabilities, and journey in Industry 4.0. The e-directory that is hosted on the Singapore microsite on CII's platform with 9 Singapore companies was also finalized. In addition, 4 virtual tours with Singapore companies which provided opportunities for Singapore companies to share their offerings and network with over 40 CII industry members in a virtual setting has been successfully concluded. In view of our ongoing partnership with CII, we look forward to continuing engagements and strengthening the network between Singapore and India. I would like to briefly introduce our delegation from Singapore. I have 6 Singapore companies with me, and maybe as I mentioned their names, if I may invite them to stand up and just wave to everyone. I have Kantia Systems, Clearpack Holdings, Automation, and Pumas Automation. So these companies have journeyed the Industry 4.0 transformation of the multinationals and Singapore companies, and they possess strong competencies and knowledge of Industry 4.0, and I would welcome all of you to have conversations and discussions with them during the tea break. I would also like to emphasize that as an organization and as a country, Enterprise Singapore has been in India with our centers, 3 centers across New Delhi, Mumbai, and Chennai. In fact, we first set up our office in India in 1986 in Mumbai, and during that time we were known as the Singapore Trade Development Board. So I think we have witnessed the transformation of India, and given that you are on the brink of a great and enormous opportunity, we would like to seek more partnerships with all of you and together seek win-win partnerships. So with that, I would just like to introduce a platform and an event, upcoming event that we would like to invite all of you to attend. The Industry Transformation Asia Pacific, or ITAP, in Singapore is an annual regional platform that brings together stakeholders supporting digital transformation of manufacturers in Asia Pacific to encourage the sharing of industry insights and ideas. It is a partnership between ourselves and Deutsche Messe, and it's the Asia Pacific edition of Hannover Messe, which is held in Hannover every year, and that's the world's largest industrial automation show worldwide. So in Singapore, we host ITAP every year, and this year it will be from 18th to 20th October. So I think the earlier speakers have spoken about many topics I think that preoccupy us today. I think with the pandemic that just happened over the past few years, many of us have realized the importance of supply chain resilience. The topic of sustainability is fresh on our mind. And it's also about how do we optimize manufacturing efficiency. So at ITAP this year, we'll be discussing and focusing on all of these topics. We are expecting more than 18,000 attendees from 70 countries and more than 350 exhibitors from 35 countries to join us. In particular, we are also having a Singapore pavilion featuring more than 30 Singapore companies with expertise in Industry 4.0 and smart manufacturing, system integration, and solutions. So wants to accelerate technology adoption, exchange views amongst all the manufacturing companies. So as the global borders reopen and we're able to come together physically once again, I'm so glad that we are all here. We are able to come together in a physical setting to meet face to face and continue the many discussions that we started. I would like to thank our partners CII for having Enterprise Singapore at this summit and for having us as one of the country partners. So we hope to be able to bring together Singapore's automation and Industry 4.0 solution providers with our Indian friends to explore cross-border opportunities and networks. So I hope you will be able to use the rest of today to exchange insights, networks, forge partnerships, and reinforce friendships. Thank you.
First of all, it's my pleasure and honor to provide the closing comments for this session. If you look at the last 1 hour and what insights were shared with us by the eminent speakers here, I can only imagine the discussions is going to become more and more richer as the day progresses, right? So many insights. First of all, thank you very much, Mr. Jayant Banerjee, for a very insightful view and your own vision in terms of the potential of India, the role that technology is going to play in it. And I think the key takeaways for us at this point in time from all the eminent speakers, if I wanted to summarize those, is that there is great potential in terms of what India offers to the rest of the world. We have an abundant pool of talent. Technology as a driving force or a transformative force, it's there to stay, and I think everybody has no choice but to embrace it. It's eventually going to become the bread and butter for every business to operate and survive. But very importantly, the technology has to coexist with the human force. That's at the core of the ecosystem when it comes to manufacturing, right? What is also important, as Jayanta put it, is basically just in time. Ahead of time, you may not have the successes that you look for from it, but also the contextualizing as the consumer behavior is shifting as the time progresses. One of the things that was very well said was, how do we move from satisfaction to delight? And I do believe that technology brings that force that allows you to move in that direction. Thank you very much, Ms. Anne Ho Singh team, for your insights into the strategy of Singapore and how you want to grow the manufacturing sector, and sharing your view in terms of how India and Singapore could collaborate together as we move forward as partners in this journey. At the end of today's conference, we have a B2B session planned with the Singapore delegation. I'm very thankful for all the participants from Singapore delegation who are here to exchange their ideas. So I do request all the community here to benefit from that session and use that session to forge new partnerships and bring new ideas to the fore where the collaboration avenues could be found. I would also like to thank all the partners who have made this event possible. Without you, this wouldn't be a success, and hope everybody will benefit from this session and get the most value from it. Thank you.
Present them with a memento. May I please request Mr. Jayanta Banerjee to present the memento to Mr. Nishant Arya. Mr. Dilip Shawnee. Ms. Anne O. Singh. Mr. Abhijit Moharir. Now may I please request Mr. Abhijit Moharir to present a memento to Mr. Jayanta Banerjee. Thank you.
Now let me tell you, the reason we ask we do not afford the cost is because we don't pay the cost. Digging up something out of the earth and spilling it all over is not equal to cost of just digging it out. To give you an example, for a laptop that you use, which is about 1.5 kilos, 35 kilos of carbon dioxide is released, which takes the work of 14 trees over a year. For a car, 35 tons of CO2 is released. which takes the work of 1400 trees to absorb it and 1.5 lakh liters of water. So either we will act with wisdom or we'll pay the cost with misery. I'm being a little extremist, so to say, just to make my point, because it's a matter of survival, and it is indeed a matter of survival. Having said that, I think we are going through a very interesting time of radical change being driven, as people have said, by digital technologies, AI, machine learning at breakneck speed, which is providing great opportunities. I'm sure people will talk about AI, people will talk about technologies like nanotechnology, very interesting technologies like biofabrication. Right now, as I speak, people are fabricating organs in the lab. So the future of diabetes, for example, may be replacing your pancreas and kidneys. It's happening as of now. Robotics, biotechnology, ethical processes are going to play a big role. 3D printing. I think carbon capture, particularly from an Indian perspective. Imagine if the hydrocarbon is made from a huge amount of CO2 that we have and a huge amount of green hydrogen that we have because of sunlight. So that's the new Middle East, isn't it? In a different way. I think those are the kind of huge opportunities. Green energy is providing great opportunities. So we have tremendous challenges and opportunities which manufacturing has to take the lead to resolve. I think circular economy is going to change just about everything. It's going to be a bigger industry than the industry exists right now. Imagine if all the components of a laptop were somehow to be recycled back through various routes. Won't it be a bigger supply chain than the supply chain of the laptop itself, and more complex manufacturing? I think there's a great opportunity for India. One, to create knowledge-based industries, which we have not done in the past. You know, in the past probably speciality was to have license and lagat, loan. Today, speciality is knowledge and talent. So I think our opportunity to create knowledge-based industries and deliver sustainable models is India's opportunity. Also, you might like to think about it, sustainability is in the ethos of this country. So with this, I'll shift to the eminent panel that we have to take their views.
The proper residue which could be used for energy. So that's the next source. The third source, which is more exciting and a little longer, is hydrogen. And that's where, if you see at this point of time, there are 3 hydrogen conferences happening in Delhi alone. In Vigyan Bhavan, last 3 days, 6 ministers have been there to say that, okay, how do we go for 20 gigawatt hydrogen targets? So hydrogen is the next, where coal can be replaced with another source of energy which can be a very concentrated. Other than energy in the form of heat and steam, I think one of the key resources for industry and manufacturing is water. And you mentioned water conservation is again a great initiative that Indian industry is taking. So I would sum it up by saying, while hydrogen is the future and steps are happening, I think Indian industry is adopting quite well to changes. Most of the large industries we see are on top of energy efficiency agenda. India is one of the very few countries to give energy efficiency norms for each of the categories, like a cement plant. It has to reach this. So if you see today 40% of cement electricity requirement in cement plant is generated through the waste stream of cement. So that's the way: reduce, reuse, recycle. I think Indian industry is doing that well with using of solar photovoltaic plus hydrogen. I think we will reach better levels of sustainability in energy. Thank you.
Based on his work, I would like to ask him about the societal impact through sustainable manufacturing that it can bring about.
Thank you. In fact, I have been working with the DSIR, Department of Scientific and Industrial Research under Ministry of Science and Technology, and lot of projects we undertake, we support actually, in fact, to various stakeholders, wherein academics, industrial involvements are extremely on the higher side. And coming to the relevant topic of the time, this sustainability manufacturing. When we talk about sustainability, so long back, maybe probably 8 years ago in our department, we thought that we are hoping for at the time national manufacturing policy was also in place, and we had a long vision for manufacturing, though it's still very tough to achieve that thing, 25% of GDP and all these things. We are still on the same thing. But at the time we started one of the schemes which I just wanted to tell you, and the purpose was that we realized that about 0.7% of GDP, I mean, if we talk about R&D expenditure by all the agencies, be it government or industry, it's around 0.7% of GDP. At the same time, if you see the contribution of manufacturing in GDP, that is also since last many years around 15%, 16% like that. So I think there may be some correlation or something, but we never thought that time. But we started one scheme that is called Common Research Technology Development Hub, where we thought to create art of state infrastructure in R&D centers or academy, but the prime objective is to handhold the MSMEs. And when we talk about MSME, it's not only MSME, but also a bigger industry is also invited for that. So this is a little bit different from other center of excellences because here MSME has more say rather than the center where it is established. So in that context, I just want to connect with the question like societal impact. See, when we talk about societal impact, this is my understanding that mostly we do science to science business or technology to technology business. Like you are a technology provider, he is technology creator, or he may be some other type of technology he is creating. So technology to technology relation is very strong because it is a business. But now we have to think a little bit technology to society. Now, how, as a technology provider, how can we benefit to the society? Definitely, I know corporate social responsibility is there, and lot of fund grant industry is also churning into that social responsibility fund. But still, I think we have to move more ahead. Now, third one is, which I feel, see, after doing these two things, technology to technology, then technology to society, then there should be society to society. Now, we should make our society so capable that there should be one day when they will, society itself will start to think about society. A common person can provide a technology solution to his fellow person. So after this, fourth one, a creation of culture, that even if a child is born after some year, he should understand that he has to contribute his society in technology terms also. It's not like that. There are many things which we make learn to our children, but I think it should all be imparted since beginning that you have to contribute towards technology creation and technology solutions. Now, we have total 18 CRTDH across the country, in some of the ITs, in some CSII labs and some other universities and R&D centers. And we have 5 different sectoral areas where we work. Now, not taking too much time, we encourage them to do something about repurpose their objective because they were doing some work in their sectors. But we encourage them to do something for COVID, and IIT Kharagpur, we are very happy to share this also, and you can get a lot of stuff in Google also. They developed COVID app technology, which is as efficient as RT-PCR. And now the beauty of this technology, this is patented here, this is patented in US also. It's a really, and the beauty is that RT-PCR technology is more than 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs rupees in Indian rupees. Whereas this COVID app is only 5,000 rupees technology. And also it is taking care of, point of care technology. It they can go to the sufferer and get the sample collected from there itself. So that is also one of the beauty. Within half an hour, you can get the solution, result, whether you are positive or not. So such type of intervention has made the life very easy at the time when COVID was on the peak. And also another societal benefit which arose from this development, that they thought that how can we reach to the tribal people or rural people. Then they trained about 200 rural and tribal ladies, because the technology is so simple that even a common person can operate it, understand it, and even communicate with the IIT Kharagpur or whosoever is providing technology. In that way, they did a great job, and I would also like to apprise you that after the COVID era is over, now it's not like that technology is not of use, because they were smart enough, they got patent for platform technology. So now that the same technology will be used for tuberculosis and other viral and bacterial borne diseases. So in that way, there are many examples which I think because of time constraint I would not share, but definitely I would say that this is one of the good examples where societal impact was achieved through the intervention of MSMEs. So such type of examples are there, and we'll be very happy in other platforms to share that thing. Thank you.
Award as well to you. Could you throw some light and educate us on how could we be leveraging new process technology and digital in driving the ESG agenda?
Thank you very much. I think thanks CII for giving the opportunity. I represent TVS Motor, where we make 2-wheelers and 3-wheelers. That is mobility for life. I think all of us are the customers for our vehicle. And one of the major things today happening is a shift from ICE vehicles towards the EV vehicles. So with any vehicle which we make, the major requirement is the range, and that is a requirement from the customer. And second major requirement from the customer is affordable price. Because in India, people use vehicle as a mobility as well as for the use in terms of rural areas where it's almost like an LCV or moped use with an LCV in the vehicle. So it's very important that we talk about the durability of our vehicles. So if I apply this on sustainability, which is the most important word which is being used in a company from the beginning itself. Sustainability comes both from the designs and manufacturing, supply development, end of the vehicle usage, and of course recycling. So, and if I take this a little bit more, we want to get the range of the vehicle. A lot of new technology is getting used. One is on the lightweighting, getting into aluminium, getting into many of the alternative materials inside the vehicle itself. And in terms of the processes, in fact in our company, we recycle 100% of all the water which is being used, 100%. And get the water back into our area. Almost 230% we are water positive. That is harnessing the rainwater and harvesting. Individual processes earth and kind to improve. I try to extend one more point is why are we in business? What are our KPIs? If you really look at this, we need to have targets in terms of the productivity, quality, cost, morale, safety. We have added environment, ergonomics, and safety into our ideas. And I go back, this is an Indian company, we look at advancement of technology, but applying of our own tattvas in terms of the heat, in terms of the water, in terms of the earth, in terms of the space, what we know on the Indian culture, how we are trying to use it back into our facility. So I go back into application of tattvas into manufacturing areas to deliver PQC DMS. So what does that mean? Using solar energy, we're almost like 93% efficient in terms of using solar, wind, trying to use recyclability as a major area, whether in terms of the processes, the product, our Apache the vehicle, which is around 86% recyclable material which is being used. So it is application of this which is going to be more and more important. So another thing which we're trying to do is application of this SDG goals. So we know there are 17 SDG goals, how we can be used for ESG. We try to coin this into 4 or 5 areas. One is in terms of the purpose, where are we in business, what are we in business for, and the durable vehicles which are trying. Second is the people-friendly planet. Plan which is people-friendly. Plan which is economically friendly. So if we divide the 17 goals or 10 major goals into the purpose, the earth-friendly plant, people-friendly plant, and of course contribution to society. So it is all in our areas where we try to apply this, and we go back into the basics of every area. And suppose we go into basics of 7M's conditions in our factory, or 7M conditions is wherever we apply to the material, manufacturing cost, material movement, machining instruments. I've added 7M as the mother earth. Dividing at every point of time, whether it's from design stage, to the manufacturing stage, to supply development stage, to the sales areas, and much more challenging which we're talking about the scope 3, because we talk about environmental friendly products, and you know IC engines is going to be a challenge. EV we feel it is green, but we need to go back into our basics of our materials too. Then we need to talk about what is the scope 3. The people using our vehicle, what are they contributing to the environment? So it's going to be the end-to-end, the application of technology, application of new methods which we are trying to use, trying to bring lightweighting into consideration, recycling in all our areas. It's all happening in India, but now the major thing is how we can show it that we can practice fully. So the third very important point is the customer. Who are all our customers? If you really think that the end customer who pays for the product to the customer, that's a major customer. The second major customer, as I feel, is the operator in our factory. The person you're using our areas, using our vehicles. So whether you're using economically friendly practices. So everything contributes towards sustainability in terms of the processes, the product, and in terms of the usage of this vehicle. And try to bring the new technology of lightweighting, try to bring technology of recycling, reverse osmosis, and we always talk about ROI. I always feel that the basic minimum to survive in today's world, we need to be more sustainable. We need to try to use more technology towards the benefit. That's the area in which we find application and extend it to the suppliers. Third thing which we're trying to do is try to work with the students, try to work with the universities, how we can ensure that it has been brought, because survival is going to be more critical for us today, and to bring survival and to be in this business, we need to sustain it.
They have achieved 20 to 130% being water positive. A vehicle design in India which is 86% recycled. On a light note, reminds me of sometimes what I've heard Swami Ramdev say, "Karne se hoga." So I'm sure you've been doing it, you've been achieving it. So thank you for your insights. Let me now bring in Vibha into the discussion, who's been working on policy initiatives. Vibha and you've been closely working on these initiatives, this micro-technology, environment, sustainability, and not only Nokia, but I realize you've also worked in many other companies, right, from GE to Microsoft. And you know, Nokia being such a well-known, reputed company, how is Nokia driving sustainability globally and in the Indian context? Would you like to share something in terms of the approach wherein people sitting here might benefit as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I must say, I'm very happy to be here. I think sustainability has been a focus area for all of us at individual level, society level, as well as thankfully the organizations you represent, they have taken it up very seriously. So yes, Nokia Telecom, which is primarily into building telecom networks, I think sustainability has been a big focus area. When I joined the company and I realized this is part of their core principle and the way they do business, I was very happy actually. ESG is we call it environmental, social and governance, is a philosophy, it's a core principle of how we run this organization. And it's not happened today, it has been there since 90s. So Nokia has been, I would say, not the pioneer, but one of the early movers in understanding and realizing what we need to do to make sure that we're protecting the environment, okay? And at all levels. At the products what we have, the solutions what we have, how we manufacture them, how we supply them, how we take care of our suppliers at the back end, how do we get our customers to adopt. So we have laid out very clear targets around it. So it's not just something which we say that we will do it, but we have laid down very specific targets. 2050, we say that we're going to be net carbon zero, the complete value chain, which is a big target. Now it's not ending there. We also have final milestones on 2030. We're talking about our assembly lines to be zero emissions. And this is India, global, everywhere. So all these targets which I'm saying, it's a global guideline, but every factory needs to adopt it. We're talking about 2025, which is closer home, to be all energy to be 100% renewable. We're producing more than what we are using, and we're happy to share back with the grid. Okay? That is our commitment, at least from how we have laid out specific targets for all of us. Now, ESG as a strategy has many principles for Nokia. Typically, we would think about energy as one big domain here. What we consume, what we produce, whether we are doing whatever is environment friendly or not. And I'll talk more about it. But we've taken ESG to the second vector, where we say that it also has to be part of the industrial digitalization what we are enabling. Whether the solutions what we have, whether they are making sense for the customers. From 4G to 5G, the power consumption per gigabit is 90% now. Are we consuming less power in totality? No, because the whole I think the usage has increased. The data usage for each of us, the industries, metaverses, everything has increased. So we have a long way to go to reach a stage where we become positive here. But at least we've done our bit on making sure our products and solutions do not consume as much power. Okay. Another vector to that is security. How do we make sure that any solutions riding on our networks have lesser security incidents? This is one way to say that we are reducing our ecosystem also by not getting into any incidents which can invoke impact on the environment. Fourth vector, bridging digital divide. We are making sure that digital skilling or MSMEs, as we heard, they are all on board to reduce the power usage for the redundant processes. So we are kind of taking care of that whole value chain to make sure that everybody utilizes technology in the most optimal way. That has been been one of the areas where we've been partnering with a lot of our industry colleagues as well as industry bodies to enable that. Specific to the products, we have been we've been using some of the solutions which are liquid cooling. We have adopted 4.0 to its maximum, and we heard that 5.0 to be done or not to be done. That is something which is still, I would say, a little futuristic. But our factory is a good example of how we have optimized the whole production to the supply chain and how we supply. We've been exporting from the country also. We have a services factory in the country. What we're making sure is that whole circular, velocity is coming at both the production level as well as the services level. So what we can service, we service. What we cannot service, we use our recyclers to make sure that they get disintegrated. We bring it back through our suppliers, and that's the kind of a value chain which we created. We have those tires, and we're using the material back into the supply chain. This is not 100% today, but this is a process, this is an ongoing process which we are working on, and hopefully will be there soon. Nokia is one of the companies which brings a planet and people report every quarter when we talk about our results. So this is something where we talk about it to all our investors, to the industry, on what we've done, what we're likely to do, and what are our year plans. So we're fairly committed to it and happy to contribute in any way more. Looking forward to this session.
Rajesh, last but not the least, you are an industry 4.0 expert, and that's the program that you are leading. But I want to ask something more interesting. I read that you have come up with a smart campus, which is going to work on futuristic technologies. And interestingly, Prime Minister Modi seems to have commented on it. So I'm actually, even more than 4.0, I'm very keen on hearing what is this smart campus, which is probably contribute to some smarter cities also.
Connected industry. I take care of Regional India as a rollout strategy for all the projects related to technology. I care about both technology and sustainability. Because as an organization, as a Bosch, we have a tagline called invented for life. That means whatever we make, whatever we produce, whatever we are going to give back to our society is everything is taken care in terms of need of the environment. And when it comes to the sustainability, we have to improve the quality of the life of people, both inside the organization as well as outside the organization. That's the first part. That's why white part is very important, because we are not going to calculate any return of investment on the white part, because if you start with the white part of business, we are not going to be sustaining the future of the business. That's what I want to address this. Coming back to the second part is, we wanted to keep manufacturing as a more attractive in the future as far as the future generation is concerned, because I think most of you are also seeing that attracting talent in the future is also very important. How we can keep our manufacturing in a more sustainable way of working in the processes. That's what Deval was mentioning about how we can keep our things of resource utilization of resources. I would like to give the example of Smart Campus, which was, those who have seen our Bangalore location, we started our organizations way back 100 years. This plant, what was started in 1950s, was in the center of the city. There was a clear decision that we wanted to move the manufacturing site from the center of the city to outside the city, and we created a smart campus, which is a green factory or green smart campus. We call this campus as a smart campus or spark or next campus. And we put a lot of money. I'm not saying that just for the construction, also of course for the technology and also integration of the technology. It's a full green. If you come across Bangalore, you can have a look on the Bangalore this full green building. Now it's monsoon, it's fully green. The 85% of the energy what we are consuming for the smart campus is done with the green source. We have our installed capacity of solar, 1 megawatt. Of course, we are also buying the green power from the captive input from the various sources, and we want to make it as 100% as it was targeted. That's part number. The second is on the usage of water. The water is, we are harvesting the water, collecting the water. We are using this water for our own campus purpose, zero discharge. The third one is we are integrating a lot of IoT technology, how we can bring down the reduction of usage of water during the different seasons for planting or different various purpose for putting the humidity controllers in the system and also air monitoring system. Why I am addressing this is we also invested. We have invested nearly about 50 crores as an investment in terms of technology as well as in terms of deployment. But if you look at the future, and the future what our young generation wants is to come work in a quality environment and also deliver in terms of whatever they want to deliver in terms of effectiveness and efficiency. So my message, first think about the future and also think about the people and think about our own kids, how they want to live in a good environment, bring a good manufacturing setup and attract the talent to the future. And one part is saving is definitely is required, and saving is going to come from the technology and whatever we are going to bring technology from the various fields of IoT, AI platform, usage of best modular technologies. These are all one of the factors. But think on the bigger scale, as a big picture. As an organization also we want to make it as a carbon neutral, as a scope 3 and also reduce by 15% by 2010. So these are all classic case and these are all the real examples I can say. As a practitioner, I also love to work in the same campus and also see how effectively we can utilize our best of best environmental things which we have generated and also we wanted to consume as a part of the future. So this is what I would like to address as a part of living system in the organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh. So there will be a day, maybe not too far in the future, when good students will say they only join a place which has a smart campus. And it's very good to hear. I was very pleased that across India, you see a cross section of industry, the amount of work, not only work, leading edge work that is happening. If you would have compared Indian manufacturing, say 15-20 years ago, we would have looked at it completely different. Especially when we would compare it with other places, there are people from Singapore here, Jurong is a wonderful place for manufacturing. I think they've done a great job in terms of how a smart manufacturing escape can be created. We can learn from Jurong. I still wonder why.
And I used to do the battery refurbishment business in technical collaboration with Israel. And I also worked for the MNCs for last 25 years. And this business I have started 6 years back. The point of discussion is that what I have seen in my journey in the MNC world also, and what I am facing today, the challenge towards the smart manufacturing, where we are just offering not only one, there are 2-3 very beautiful solutions. But the problem is the acceptance criteria in the MNC world, the blockage is there with respect to the top level and the intermediate level. That is number one. And second thing is that there is no open forum. But I feel that there is no open forum among the industry where quarterly or one day that top management should sit with the people open-mindedly with the new ideas, and later on they can check it out on those things, action plan. Action summit also. I have raised one beautiful solution is that please open one small slot in your website where anybody can give their idea onto that one. So this is what my suggestion to do. Thank you.
No companies are being able to work in isolation in future. That time is gone. Working with ecosystems of partners and a lot of small partners is going to be a real force multiplier. I think not only IT and digital data is going to be cloud. Actually, everything is going to be cloud. In future, employees are going to be cloud. But you've raised very valid points. Thank you for that. Anyway.
If you look at your deployed installations of towers across suburban India, right? You talked about your services entity. If you could give us a perspective, because you've got these installations of 2G, 3G networks which go back to about 15, 20 years, from a sustainability perspective, the infrastructure that's there, because these are managed service networks that are taken over by companies like you and Ericsson. If you could just give us a perspective of what's being done with the services, because now you've got equipment that's been lying in these rural places, be it battery, backups, other infrastructure. So how is that being sustained or, as you said, in a circular economy, being recycled?
The way telecom industry has evolved in last 15-20 years, we have seen a lot of consolidation happening. We used to have almost 10 to 15 service operators spread across the country, and slowly we saw companies either moving out or being bought over or consolidated. Now, some of the infrastructure was acquired by the newer telcos who are present today,